What is going on, guys? In today's video, we are going to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, and more specifically, why I think it's the greatest horror game ever made. Alright, now my reason for making this video is obviously because the new Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie just got released. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because this game was just such a integral part of my childhood. But yeah, I have been playing Five Nights at Freddy's for as long as I can remember, since I was a little kid. I remember when it first got released when I was in elementary school, talking with my friends on the playground about who we thought our favorite characters was, or discussing what we thought the lore of the game was. It was just such an interesting and unique concept, especially for kids to try to grasp. It was genuinely revolutionary for its time, right? And you look back at the first game like we're doing now, it's simple, you know? You're stuck, you're stationary. That's the main part of it that's so fascinating to so many people and was so different at the time. Like, you watch Markiplier when he first opens up the game, he just goes, oh, I can't move. He starts clicking around on his keys trying to move around it.
Hello? Oh, I can't move.
Because 90% of horror games at the time, you'd move around. That was just what you did. And the thought of being stationary makes the game 10 times scarier. Because you just sit. You sit and you wait for the bad stuff to come to you. And it truly just makes it 10 times more terrifying. Along with that, I mean, the game is just, holy shit, that actually just scared me. The game is actually just incredibly simple. If we go to the basic game design stuff, the assets used to make it are almost entirely I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. You can find them online, stock stuff. Scott didn't pay a ton of money to design it. I don't know if he developed the game all himself. I really don't know much on that. I know he was an indie game developer at the time, and he was criticized for his style of making games beforehand. But yeah, I remember 2 years ago when that first movie, or is it closer to 3 years now? It might be closer to 3 years now. I remember when that first movie got announced, and I was just ecstatic, dude. I remember watching these fake FNAF movie trailers when I was a kid, just because I wanted there to be a movie about it so bad. It was easily my most played game. I had it downloaded on my tablet and stuff when I was a kid, and I watched these videos and be like, man, I can't wait for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie to come out. And it just never happened. I waited for years and years, and by the time it got announced, I really wasn't playing the game a ton at the time. I think the most recent one that I played, or watched anyways, I don't think I'd played it at the time, but was Security Breach. So I really wasn't super involved with it, and even that, it was just more watching Markiplier play it in the background while I did other stuff. But I remember it got announced, dude, and I was just so hyped to go see this movie, and I went and saw it. And if I'm giving my honest thoughts on it, I went and watched it, and I was like, it's a little different from what I would have liked, you know? The plot was interesting, definitely an interesting way to go, making the animatronics friendly, but it makes sense, right? Because the whole premise of the game is you got children's souls stuck in the animatronics bodies and stuff. So it's yeah, why would you not make it so that they're gonna get along with the kid in the movie? So yeah, some of the scenes felt kind of weird like that, but I think it was cute. It was wholesome, you know. And it's a movie adaptation. How are you gonna make it just like the game? You can't have a guy sitting in a chair for an hour, 30 minutes, or however long it is, you know. You gotta have stuff going on that's gonna change it up. So I really don't think personally that it was a bad choice. Now, I have seen the second movie, and I gotta say, it did still have some charm to it, but as a oh my god, that also scared the shit out of me. As a diehard fan, I was kind of upset. It was really cool, don't get me wrong. The puppet, I feel was executed phenomenally. I think that I don't know if you call it an animatronic or whatever. It's a puppet, so I'm gonna call it a puppet. But I feel that was executed amazingly, perfectly even. It was super creepy, off-putting. The whole thing about the puppet spirit being so hateful or whatever, that was great. But there were so many other parts of it that just felt so disconnected and confusing, and I couldn't understand what was going on. Obviously, I'm gonna get into the movie a little bit more here, so spoilers if you haven't seen it. Jeez, that also just scared me. I am so jumpy right now, and my volume in my headset is definitely way too loud. But yeah, what I was going to say is parts of the movie that felt kind of weird and forced. The withered animatronics, the way they worked was kind of strange with the detecting thing in the mask. I get it's a clever way to kind of like work them in there just so that they get some screen time and stuff, but I really wasn't a huge fan of that part. I feel like it could have been executed way better. The scene of Mike ripping off Balloon Boy's head was absolutely fucking perfect in my opinion, because it's like, dude, if any like normal person is put in this situation, that's what they're gonna do. Like, Balloon Boy isn't really scary and he's not really gonna hurt you in any way, so why wouldn't you just rip the fucker's head off and chuck it across the room? That was phenomenal. Also, why is Bonnie not leaving? Can you get out of here, you bitch? He's draining all of my battery. I also think the toy animatronics and the thing of like the puppet just possessing them was kind of interesting, but then there's like the puppet wasn't, so I didn't get it. That whole thing still kind of confused me. It's like, was the puppet possessing the toy animatronics? Because they kind of seem to have their own thing going on at the same time too. And how could the puppet be possessing 5 different things at once? The whole thing just felt kind of disconnected and confusing as to what was going on. That's the best way I can think to describe that entire movie, is disconnected and confusing, and like they were just making stuff happen. They also literally had like an animatronic fight scene in there, which hilarious, especially because it literally felt like a direct reference to those Five Nights at Freddy's fights that were made in like Source Filmmaker or whatever it was, like those old animations. So that was kind of cool and like nostalgic, and it was like, feels like a reference to something from my childhood. Other than that, the only like highlight of the movie I could think was the toy Freddy when Mike picks it up and pushes it and it goes But literally, other than the fact that I watched it and just pointed at the screen a bunch and was like, oh, I know that from the game. Oh, I like that because it's from the game. There really wasn't, like, from a plot standpoint, it was just so bad. It felt so rushed and poorly written. There is some stuff that kind of gets me looking forward to the next movie. Like, there was a cool Springtrap teaser at the end, and we saw Circus Baby, too, in there during, like, I think it was a dream sequence or something. With Vanessa, she like goes into a dream. She's like in her old home, goes upstairs. Oh, Circus Baby's there. Cool, right? Once again, I point at the screen. I go, I know that. That's from Sister Location. Oh fuck, dude, Foxy literally left. Holy shit. But no, even now this game still holds up, bro. Like, I swear, I play it and it's just like, it's scary. It really is. Like, it's off-putting. It keeps you on your toes. You got to keep looking around. We're definitely muting the call again because I've heard it 1,000 times and I don't want you guys to have to listen to that while I talk. But yeah, the other thing that's really, really starting to annoy me about this fandom, I wouldn't even really consider it a part of the fandom, but there's this weird thing with Five Nights at Freddy's becoming, like, I don't like the word, but it's how people describe it, becoming like pretty girl humor or whatever is really kind of annoying, because it is a real thing. Like, you go to these movies and it's like filled with a bunch of these, like, I don't know, high school age girls who you can tell definitely didn't grow up watching this. And they just watch it the whole time and kind of laugh at it, and you can tell they don't get any of the references and stuff. It's like, whatever, you know, go enjoy whatever you want to watch. But it's kind of annoying because you can tell they're just making fun of it. And I feel bad for the kids who really go and watch it, and they're really intrigued, and they're definitely going to get made fun of for being actually into the game. That was how it felt when I was younger, right? Like, I said it earlier, I talked to my friends about it, but really it was like just me and my cousin would talk about it. People didn't play the game, especially at my school. Like, I grew up in the Midwest, in a small town, and they're just, I didn't have any friends who were like nerds and like the same shit as me. Also, Foxy's already peeking out. That is not good. I need to check the cameras more often. I feel like that was a big part of why it was so cool to see something from my childhood recognized, because it wasn't a thing when I was younger, or at least it wasn't to a majority of people. It was so niche at the time, and seeing it come this far is just like truly amazing. But I'm going to expand on what I started talking about at the start of this video just a little bit more. Why is Five Nights at Freddy's the best horror game ever? And I talked about it a little bit, right? It was revolutionary for its time. Used different techniques, used different methods compared to literally every other horror game that was popular at the time. That's like the main reason. But that's not a compelling argument for why is it the greatest of all time. My argument for that would, one, just be the longevity of how well it holds up. There are a lot of other horror games that you go back and play and you're like, man, this sucks. But to this day, if you make a person sit down and play Five Nights at Freddy's who's unfamiliar with it and they've never played it before, they're going to be scared. And you could say that for other games too, right? But this concept feels so real. And that is the other, like, main point that I drive with, is like, this is something that feels like, obviously, children possessing animatronics feels not real if you go about it from that perspective. But the idea of killer animatronics, or like this phobia of animatronics, I don't know what the word is, I'll toss it up on stream right now. Boom. That's the word for being afraid of animatronics or puppets or mannequins or something like that. I don't know. People are afraid of things that look kind of human-like, but not really. And this definitely plays into that. I mean, as a kid, I literally couldn't, I wouldn't say I couldn't play the game, because I still did. I would play it on my own. I had them downloaded on my tablet. But I was just so scared to the point that I couldn't play with like headphones on. I couldn't, like, for example, the fourth game. I just clicked off the game. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Please let it back. Please. Okay. We're back. I don't even remember what I was talking about now. Now I'm just fucking freaked out. I'm gonna die. For some reason, if I click off of my desktop, it literally closes the game. Or, like, it minimizes the game, and it takes forever to load back up. Like I said in the last video, my setup is dog shit. So that is just fucking lovely. Oh, look at this now. That also, that sequence when I was younger scared me so much. The visual of Foxy running down the hallway, and I love so much the first Markiplier jump scare where he gets, oh, okay, we got the fucking whole gang here now. I love the Markiplier sequence where he gets jump scared by Foxy for that first time.
Ah, fuck! No! Oh, fucking fuck! Oh!
He flicks to it, he just doesn't have time to react, and he dies, and I think he starts having like a heart attack or something. But that Markiplier playthrough is just so phenomenal. It's easily my favorite playthrough of... If I'm watching any Five Nights at Freddy's game, right? I'm going to watch the Markiplier playthrough every day of the week. Every day of the week. Also, another reason why I will always advocate that this is the greatest horror game of all time. Its use of audio is so amazing, right? For being a game that pretty much just uses found sounds and stuff from the internet, like... It's so good. It's so eerie. It feels like you're there. You hear the fan going. You hear these eerie sounds. You'll hear Foxy humming, Freddy singing his songs, and it just is terrifying. Like, genuinely, it's just terrifying. I get that somebody could argue that there are other games that are scarier, but when I think of horror, like, it's easily... Sorry, let me rephrase that. When I think of a horror game, it's always going to be the first that comes to my mind. There just isn't anything else that's as iconic. And that's another thing I'd add to that, is it's iconic. Even if you didn't play Five Nights at Freddy's, you know Five Nights at Freddy's. Alright? There aren't people out there... There's, like, people out there who don't know Phasmophobia or Amnesia. Like, there are people who don't know those games. But you say Five Nights at Freddy's. Everybody knows Five Nights at Freddy's. Like I was saying, though, even people that didn't play Five Nights at Freddy's know Five Nights at Freddy's. So how is it that you're going to argue that this isn't the most impactful horror game of all time? What other horror game? I wouldn't even consider Dead by Daylight a horror game, because it has this weird competitive aspect to it. I mean, sure, you have competitive Five Nights at Freddy's people, like speedrunners or people that beat all the 20-20-20 modes, but you're not actively playing against other people necessarily in those. And Dead by Daylight, after a certain time, you get desensitized to it. And you get desensitized to this too, but not in the same ways. Easy win. I'm really trying to think if I have anything else that I want to add on to that, or any other arguments. I really can't think of any off the top of my head, and I don't want this video to go on for too long, because if I'm being honest, at this point, it's just me rambling now. So, if you have any other questions or any other, like, things you want to pick my brain about as to why I'd say this is the best game of all time, just ask me down in the comments. Also, if you want me to talk about anything else Five Nights at Freddy's related, or like my opinion on it, let me know that too. This is what I do. I get on here and I talk for no reason. But yeah, that's going to do it. We'll see ya.